Alright guys, so over on the Patreon channel we started doing a new series. We're talking about home defense, and one of the things that we touched on was some light techniques. In doing so, you have to lay a little bit of the groundwork, and that groundwork involves things like kinesthetic alignment for one. Now, what kinesthetic alignment is, in this case here, I'm going to go ahead and just unload this. This is the airsoft you guys see me training with all the time. This is a great tool for being able to train this kinesthetic alignment. What kinesthetic alignment is it starts out with your grip. Now, one of the techniques that I typically use is I have a guy start out. He'll get the grip that he can, that he's comfortable with in his primary hand. He's going to stick that out. He'll put his support hand in, and then he's going to look up. And what's going to happen is his sights are either going to be aligned or they're not. This is what's called natural point of aim. What I want him to do is I want him to manipulate that pistol in his hand to where he can duplicate that same process, look down, look up, and those sights are aligned. Now, I don't care whether they're pointing at the target that he's aiming at. I want to see that the sights are aligned, because once I determine that my sights are aligned, I have now determined my master grip. From there, we take the master grip, we go backwards through the process from extension to compression down into the holster, and now we know what our grip should be from the holster on the way out. It's just a matter of reverse engineering what the process is. So now I know what my grip should be in the holster. I establish that grip, come up, punch out, and I've got that natural kinesthetic alignment. Now, what kinesthetic alignment allows me to do is it allows me to line up on the target without having to actually take the time to align my sights. When I'm in close range, particularly something in a home defense scenario, I am not going to have time to align those sights. As a result, I need to know when I grab my pistol, when I grab it from the holster, when I grab it from under my pillow, when I grab it from my gun cabinet, wherever it is you keep your pistol, when I grab it, I need to know when it's in my hand, in my primary master hand, I need to know that it is lined up. As soon as I go to punch out, those sights will be aligned. This is something that I do through muscle memory and a process called kinesthetic alignment. This is also one of the foundational bases for using a weapons mounted light, because in using that light, one of the procedures that we're going to use, a technique that I teach, is to be able to light on, take a snapshot of my surroundings, light off, so everything goes black, sidestep, and break my shot with that pistol still out. Now, this requires kinesthetic alignment, because as I am punching out on the target, it's light on, light off, sidestep, and I have to be able to stay aligned, as opposed to staying on, light off, and sidestepping this way, and it comes off target. So, building in that kinesthetic alignment, knowing where that pistol is pointed and oriented, at least within the bounds of a home defense scenario, becomes a foundational basis for what we're doing here. Also, one of the other factors that gets into play when you start talking about using a weapons mounted light is just hand coordination. We often manipulate our pistol with our primary hand, in this case my right hand. We're used to operating controls, safeties, hammer release, slide release. We're often manipulating the pistol controls with our primary hand, and our support hand does nothing but enhance the grip of our primary hand. However, when you start adding in a weapons mounted light, that's no longer the case. I now have new set of controls that I have to manipulate, light on, light off, all of this while still operating the controls of my firearm with my primary hand and maintaining awareness of what's going on downrange. Now, you see this a lot where people take and they pay big money for courses to go train with Joe Ninja, and they spend one night out on the range, or maybe 2 nights or 3 nights out on the range, and then they come home and those skills are never practiced again. Again, you guys have heard me say it, and I'll say it again, this is where airsoft really becomes a benefit. It doesn't have to be airsoft. It can be Sim guns. If you've got that much of a butthurt issue about it, use a sim gun. I don't really care. But the point is you need something other than a live fire round that you can practice, whether it be in your home, in your garage, in your backyard. You need to be able to maintain proficiency with these skills, because any type of attacks you're going to encounter, the vast majority of those are going to occur at night. So a weapons mounted light becomes something that is almost a must. Also, something to keep in mind is if you're going to keep a rifle in your house and it has a weapons mounted light as well, you need to be able to operate that. Now this also becomes an issue of coordination, because now I have to manipulate those controls with my primary hand while operating that light on, light off with my support hand. It's not as simple as just walking in, light on, shining around the room, and ending up getting my butt shot off as a result of this. Again, this is something that we go into greater detail on the Patreon channel. We are still going to continue on YouTube. I'm still going to be providing content and information. Still going to be doing the live chat. We've got one coming up in a little bit here this evening, and you guys are welcome to chime in. This whole thing with Patreon and YouTube, this is all somewhat new to me. I'm still getting my head around how all of it works. I did not look for this opportunity. This was an opportunity where God had used another individual to open this door up to me. I started going through, and I'm basically just seeing where God is leading. If this is an opportunity that turns into something, great. If it's not, at very least, I hope to be able to provide some information to the masses out there, because the reality is we are living in a far more dangerous world today than we did yesterday. So keep that in mind. You guys stay aware, and you guys train hard.